What just happened? Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today's Yu-Gi-Oh video is going to be my review of the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush episode 20, Go Hayuna. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this episode was really kind of a WTF episode. I actually couldn't believe what I was seeing, and this episode was really great. I love these kind of episodes with plots and as well as character development, as well as a bit of a mystery and a cliffhanger. So yeah, all those things combined, this made for an excellent episode in my opinion, a big WTF for me, but we'll talk about that soon enough. So at risk of further rambling, let's move on to the actual episode. So the episode begins with Udius, Yuhi, and Uemu and Manabu. They're in the alien residential area, and this cloaked girl appears to them, and she's captured Sky Fisher. And she is just abusive to Sky Fisher. And these guys are questioning just what is her deal, because she keeps going, I'm so pissed, I'm so pissed. And they're like, whoa, what's her deal? And we learn that she's kind of triggered by Udius's dual disc nonetheless. She's wondering where in the world did he get it? And everybody's just like, well, now that you mention it, he's got a dual disc that nobody's ever seen, which they just assumed was a prototype. And he's also got galaxy cards that were never revealed either, or released either. So a bit of a big backstory here comes later on in the episode. Anyway, before all that happens, Udius challenges this cloaked girl to a rush duel for answers. She claims she doesn't have to be involved in it at all, but nonetheless, once she sees the dual disc and she completely goes off, she does agree to do this rush duel. Basically, if she wins, she takes his dual disc, his cards, and their dual power. And that's a steep price to pay, but Uemu kind of encourages it. She's like, we got to put all of our cards on the table sometime, so why not now? So these two rush duel, and we find out that this cloaked girl is using the exact same deck that Yuga used in the last series. We see Seven's Road Magician, and the only reason why I'm saying it's Yuga's deck and not Otis's deck, because they're the only two decks that have Seven's Road Magician in them, is Otis's deck was entirely a Seven's Roads deck. Yuga's deck had different kinds of sorcerers, which we see, the different attribute sorcerers, which we see her play repeatedly, which leads you to believe that this is Yuga's deck that she's using. And that's kind of ironic because, you know, we were under the assumption at the start that Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush was going to be a continuation of Sevens, kind of, just far off in time. That kind of got shot down the further on we went in this series. Now we're leaning more towards this is a different dimension within the same time frame as Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. That's kind of my theory on it, just because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has done the different dimensions thing before, and it's one of the few series that has done different dimensions really well. But it's the only way that any of this kind of makes sense now if you think about it. But all that being said, we go on. This rush duel just continues on. She uses Seven's Roads to just beat down Udius, although he does pretty well against Seven's Roads for a while. And yeah, then we get into the backstory of how Udius found the dual disc and his Go Rush cards, or his rush duel cards. We see that when he first came to Earth, he was trying to track down the secrets of getting rush duels, leads him to a card shop. He gets arrested by the police because they think he's just a crazy weirdo at this point. But then he gets out, he's hungry, he can't find the card shop again, and a stranger appears to him and gives him the dual disc and the cards, and then takes off into the sky. And this character that does this bears a striking similarity to Yuga in his manga form. I don't know if you guys remember, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, when we got introduced to the Luke Man, Yuga had a different persona as well. And this is the character that appears to have given Udius the Rush Duel Disk, which, again, kind of leans more towards different dimensions, just because if this really is Yuga's different persona that's doing this, that kind of leads into this notion, because nobody's ever heard of Yuga, nobody's ever heard of these dual discs. So it can't be a time skip, but it could very well be a different dimension. And this episode kind of leans into that, and that's the only reason why I'm throwing that theory out there. Anyway, after Udius gets this stuff and we get this backstory, we go back to the Rush Duel. Go Hyuna reveals herself to be Go Hyuna, because at first they believe that it's Go Hyuna that gave Udius this stuff, and she's like, don't be ridiculous. And so, yeah, the fact that she doesn't know the Goha presidential siblings, another reason why I believe this is a different dimension. Just on a side note, I know I'm rambling quite a bit here, but anyway, so all that said, she destroys Udius, Go Hyuna does, and then after she destroys him, as promised, she takes his Rush Duel Disk, his cards, and their Rush Duel power. And Manabu's shocked because these guys are pretty much on their knees on the ground. They can't get up, they can't move, and it's revealed that in the alien residential area, you need dual power, not just because otherwise you're dead broke, but you literally can't move. It affects your gravity in the alien residential area. So now these three are essentially paralyzed, and it's up to Manabu to try to fix this. And that's where the episode leaves off. Like I said, this episode was fantastic. It was a giant WTF. Leads me more into this as a different dimension in the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's timeline, but I don't do Yu-Gi-Oh! Timelines because I try to stay away from that subject with a 100-foot pole. That being said, that is kind of my theory towards it, but either way, regardless of what we see or don't see in revolving that theory, this episode was fantastic on its own. I enjoyed it. It gave me a big WTF, and it was a great way to start the morning, in my opinion. Overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. I really did love it. But as always, everybody, in the comments section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts were about this week's episode. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was just there? What are your thoughts? Just let me know in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone, as always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.